and welcome to today's episode of Metropolitan, where we discuss issues concerning students in the DC metro area. I'm your host, Taylor.
And I'm Michael. What will we be talking about today, Taylor?
Well, Michael, I'll give you a hint. As a student of Montgomery County Public Schools, I attended the Magnet program at Eastern Middle School, and then went on to the Communication Arts program here at Blair.
Wow, how do you get in?
Well, I took a test to get into both Eastern and CAP. For each, my scores were selected among the highest performing students in the area.
That's amazing. I was in the Gifted and Talented program at Tacoma Park Middle School, but then attended mainstream high school courses.
How was our schooling different? How was it different from other students? How do these programs affect us?
Those are great questions, Taylor.
Well, that's what today's show is about. How did GT and Magnet programs come about? How are they implemented? How do they impact our education system and our students?
That's what we'll be talking about right after this short break when we get back.
No es suficiente soñar y tener buenas notas para ir a la universidad. Hay ciertos pasos que debes tomar, como encontrar a alguien que te pueda ayudar. Es el primer paso y el más importante. Para los pasos que siguen, visita ayudameair.org.
G-morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me back.
You don't figure out Jody's gonna move.
Hey, did you tell your parents about us? Let's skip first period together. Did you get all my texts? Is practice over yet? Where are you at? Are you with your friends? That's L-A-A-A-M-M-E-E-E. Capital X, lowercase o, capital X, lowercase o.
I love you. JK. I hate you. JK.
Are you ignoring me?
We're in a huge fight right now.
Is this something I did?
I can see your lights on. I'm coming
This
over.
isn't a
What'd you
joke.
dream about?
Me?
I'm lonely.
Holla back.
Holla back. Let's try something new. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
Welcome back. Let's talk a bit more about what we mean by gifted or accelerated education.
The federal government only got seriously involved in public education after the Soviet Union launched Sputnik in 1957.
In 1958, Congress passed the National Defense Education Act, which gave $1 billion to boost science, math, and technology in public education. For the first time, educators were pressured to identify gifted students and serve them in schools.
The federal government defined intellectual giftedness as follows: students, children, or youth who give evidence of high performance capability in areas such as intellectual, creative, artistic, or leadership capacity, or in specific academic fields, and who require services or activities not ordinarily provided by the school in order to fully develop such capabilities.
Gifted students are chosen through a variety of methods, including portfolios of student work, classroom observations, achievement measures, and intelligence scores.
The No Child Left Behind Act, passed in 2002, enacted punishments on schools that did not meet achievement standards to help low-performing students. However, it did not recognize or benefit students who perform above grade level.
Some are concerned that new legislation has weakened gifted services and that the government is not doing enough to ensure success for accelerated students.
Gifted students continue to be identified throughout the nation, from elementary to high school.
There are currently a number of special education programs in Montgomery County, including the Visual Arts Center at Einstein, the Leadership Training Institute at Kennedy, and the Math and Science Magnet program at Poolsville. There are also many international baccalaureate programs available at many MCPS high schools.
Though Magnet and GT curriculums are great opportunities for academically advanced students, these programs, or rather the way they are implemented, can be quite controversial.
Good point, Michael. Some people worry about the psychological impact of telling certain students, especially at a young age, that they are not gifted and talented. It's as if they are telling children that school isn't a place where they can succeed.
What's more, labeling students this way can lead to tracking, which means grouping students based on academic ability. Critics claim that tracking directs poor and minority students into low tracks, depriving many students of a rich education.
Others are troubled that accelerated programs take beneficial teachers and resources away from other students who may need the support more than gifted students do.
Still, others have problems with the process of selecting students to be in the Magnet programs, such as test scores or IQ tests.
Now let's watch a video in which Blair's students voice their opposition toward the GT label.
My name is George Velasquez. I'm a social studies teacher at Montgomery Blair High School and one of the faculty advisors to SGR.
And my name is Kevin Moose. I'm also a teacher here at Blair High School and work with Mr. Velasquez and these fine young students from SGR as well.
Basically what we're trying to do is remove the labels from second graders. We don't want them to take the test that tracks them into gifted and talented or not gifted and talented, because basically as they grow up they feel like they're not confident enough to go on to do the upper level classes.
It's a campaign that's actually been going on for a couple of years to end the practice of labeling second grade students after the global screening as either gifted and talented or by implication not gifted and talented.
In my personal opinion, I think that when you label kids gifted or talented, you definitely sort of exclude a certain population of the other kids from, I guess, reaching their full potential. In the end, you basically preclude them from having the opportunity to enter a lot of programs.
It sets you on a course for pretty much the rest of your life. It indirectly decides your life. You're stuck. You can't expand out of this. If you're non-GT, you're non-gifted and talented. You can't expand. And once you reach high school, you can do the excess work, the more work. Like you can do more work, but you can't get out of these regular classes because you've been in non-GT classes since second grade.
You just have kids who at a very young age are, I guess, identified as being gifted and talented or as being intelligent to reach a certain level of instruction, but whether or not they actually are that intelligent because of their age or because of factors in their socioeconomic background aren't considered.
It does a disservice to all the children, but particularly to those who are labeled not gifted and talented, because it gives them a message that school is not the place for them, that they are not going to be successful or achieve in school, and also because they end up getting less rigorous, less interesting, less innovative instruction.
I got into the GT program in my elementary school, and going in there, like looking around my class, is like there's mostly just me and 2 other black kids in that school, or in there. And I think I didn't really like it that much because it sort of separated me from my other friends who weren't gifted and talented. And whenever we would like go to a different classroom, they would just sort of complain or like sort of say it's unfair how they're not getting to do what we get to do.
As a parent of a second grader this year, I think the county's main problem, if the data we have is correct, that 60% of white and Asian students are classified GT and 80% African American, Hispanic or not, it's simply an absurd testing process.
We've been going to board meetings. We've been working with other clubs so we can help present a presentation and help spread awareness to this upcoming board meeting.
Just having kids who care show up and say this is an issue that we're passionate about really says something different than just having 7 adults and 1 kid sitting at a table talking about it.
Welcome back. We're here with CAP Director Ms. Cullen and Magnet Program Director Mr. Ostrander. Welcome.
Thank you.
So how can students benefit from being in the Math and Science Magnet Program or the Communication Arts Program here at Blair?
How can they benefit? Well, Well, I think both of our programs offer, you know, a rich curriculum. It meets their needs as diverse learners. There's an interdisciplinary component to a lot of what we do, and so I'm sure that's beneficial.
The idea is that they're going to be taking courses that are of interest to them, that push them beyond where the courses at their home school may reach. The idea of having magnet programs is simply, can the needs of your home school, or can your needs be met at your home school? And if the answer is no, then we have these other programs in the county that stretch those subjects beyond what would be normally available.
Does enrollment in these programs better ensure success later in life?
I would say no. What our program offers is kind of it appeals to those students who have particular interest in the humanities and the media. So we kind of fill a need in that respect, and we also appeal to their skills and talents in that area. So I wouldn't say it's a ticket to Harvard, but it is accelerated, it is enriched, it is a program that not everyone can succeed in. It's not for everybody, but for those students who kind of welcome a challenging curriculum and you know, faster pace, maybe a different learning style, I think would be successful.
And success is going to be defined by each individual student. So all schools in Montgomery County are going to offer a wide range of courses that every student who takes full advantage of will be prepared for their success. Most of the students in our programs have specific interests in our subject areas, so therefore in their mind, their definition of success may be better met. But in terms of general students, all students out there, I think each student has to pick their own program that matches best their needs.
So from where do your programs get money?
What money?
Yeah. Both of our programs are funded from the county, meaning it's part of the county budget. The magnet program specifically receives additional funding because we pool from a wider range of areas rather than just the consortia. And so there's money for transportation, for additional staffing, and then for the CAP program, they get staffing more from the consortia or from the local school because that's the type of program it is. So there's some different technical aspects of it, but mainly the county funds both of our programs.
Due to the recession or general attitudes towards your programs, are you worried about funding in the future?
The only thing that I'm concerned about is transportation, because so many of our students don't live in the Down County Consortia area. So if they live in Rockville or Potomac or coming from you know, farther away, if that budget is slashed, that could severely impact our admissions and enrollment. So that's what I'm worried about. The good news is we don't have any real concerns, especially for next year. We're safe. So it's kind of a year-by-year situation at this point.
So how can bringing gifted students from around the county enrich the community?
The nice thing about Blair is it's already a large school, so there's going to be a large number of offerings of different courses, but having students who are coming to the school specifically to study these different areas adds in an interest level to subject matter that is there that opens up courses for everybody in the school. So for instance, we have courses in biochemistry here at Blair, nowhere else. However, all students at Blair can take that biochemistry course if they've met the prerequisites by the time they're junior, senior. And on the CAP side, same thing goes. There's courses in peace studies and Mideast studies and a lot of history courses that are available to all students, and they're there because of the interest brought by the CAP students. So that kind of helps. And then programs like this, BNC, the newspaper, and those sort of activities are enriched by having that many students with that similar interest coming to the same spot.
In your opinion, can magnet and GT programs deprive other students who maybe aren't involved with the programs from valuable resources?
Well, I think it's important to underscore that programs such as ours don't receive additional funding just because we serve this particular kind of student. Gifted and talented or students in special programs have different needs, but those needs don't necessarily mean more resources. It's just different resources.
The county budget is kind of set where if you do say, well, we're going to give $100 to this program, then there's $100 less for other programs. That's true. But the county does a good job of making sure that the distribution of resources is equitable between programs. So yes, we do get resources for our programs, but additionally so do other programs. The academies here at Blair, other programs at other high schools would also get similar things, special education, ESOL. They're all well served by the county.
Right. So is identifying students as gifted early on in their lives necessary?
I'm going to let you take this one.
Yeah, I think so. There's studies that show that early identification is really important, mainly because it will allow school systems to give students access to enriched and innovative or accelerated programs. So the earlier that you do that, the more time you have to work with a student so that when they get to be a high school student or beyond, they're capable of handling high-level work. Our county automatically screens all second graders for giftedness. We do this global screening process, and the idea is, as part of that process, schools are to make recommendations for what level of services those students will get. And so even if you're identified as gifted or not, they're going to make recommendations for this student should be in an accelerated reading program, such as William and Mary or junior grade books, or this student will be accelerated in math by getting above grade level extensions or even enrolled in an above grade level class. And so we start that in second grade, and the idea is to do that early on so they have the full benefit of multiple years of good service.
And it's not just about identifying them as gifted per se, it's really identifying what skill sets they have so that we can maximize those skills and make the most of them.
In your own words, how is accelerated education advantageous for today's generation in particular?
We live in a really fast-paced environment, don't we? I mean, technology is changing before we can get used to the old system. And I think these accelerated programs that import that kind of technological facet to their curriculums are really at a benefit. So that, you know, definitely appeals to a diverse learning set and benefits students who can learn in a fast pace. It's not for everybody.
Right, and our programs aren't just about acceleration. Acceleration is appropriate in areas where students can learn the subject matter at a faster pace, so it's crunched down. But our programs also focus on enrichment, application of what we do, real-world experiences, and other things. So gifted programs aren't just about acceleration. That's just one component.
Well, thank you very much for your time, directors. Don't go away, because next we'll be talking to PTA member Pete Laffin.
I present to you Algebra 2, Foreign Languages, and finally, Biology. Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Me. Me too. Sign me up.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college.
Everyone has friends. There's online friends, friends to go out with on a Saturday night, friends to hang out with and do nothing, friends who show up on moving day. And then there are the friends who'll be there if someone is dealing with a mental illness. Are you one of those friends?
My name's Brandon. I'm 9 years old, being alcoholic.
Hi, Brandon.
I'll start drinking with the older kids. And whatever they do, I'll do.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults. So start talking before they start drinking.
I know it'll start with alcohol. I'm just not sure how it's gonna end. I'm a lion!
Yes, you are. Come here. Let's see how this looks.
Hey, how's my little horse?
She's a lion.
Yes, she is.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. When you adopt a child from foster care, just being there makes all the difference.
Problems with it.
Guys, remember your
was having simultaneously with Katie's party.
I know you're trying to think of like what.
So people were texting me. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Laughlin. This episode was incredibly eye-opening.
It sure was, Michael. Thank you all for watching. Now let's listen to Blair's a cappella group Intonation.
Shoo-doop, shooby-doo, shoo-doop, shooby-doo, shoo-doop, shooby-doo, shoo-doop, shooby-wah, shoo-doop, shooby-doo, shoo-doop, shooby-doo, shoo-doop, shooby-doo, hold you tight, shoo-doop, shooby-wah, 'cause I love shoo-doop, shooby-doo, you so, mama so never let you go, and still still of the night. I remember that night when the stars were bright up above, and I hope and I pray to keep your precious love. So before hold me again, love, with all of your mind.